Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another in-depth first-person walk around here on NT Auto Reviews. My name is Tyler behind the camera as always, and today we are checking out a 2021 Volkswagen Passat in the base S trim level. So before we get into all the details of this vehicle, I'd like to let you viewers know that in the description box I have put timestamps. So when the details of the exterior start, the driver's cockpit, the rear seats, the under the hood portion of the video, all that good stuff. So I put all of those times in the description box of the video, since these videos tend to get kind of long. So that's there for your convenience. But back to the Passat in question here. I'd like to show you guys the window sticker before we get started, because the window sticker really does have some pretty neat elements on it, and you'll get a pretty good overview of the vehicle before I start talking my head off. Over here we have all the fuel economy of the vehicle, and down below we have our parts content and our government crash ratings, which this car hasn't been rated yet, interestingly enough. We have shipping information down below, and then we also have all of our standard equipment and also our optional equipment. So you can pause the video and get a lot more information, but I'm just going to run through some things very quick. Right over here, obviously you have all your standard features. Over here, your warranty information, scheduled maintenance, and then also the most important part over here is the options column. Now, Volkswagen's pretty good with options. Pretty much with a lot of Volkswagens that you get, the trim level that you get is what you get. There's not a whole lot of packages available, a lot of options. They just kind of keep it simple with the options. However, this one does have a couple of accessories. Also, the paint color is a little bit extra. We have the Aurora Red exterior, which is an extra $395. We also have the Monster mats, which are the all-weather floor mats, and the trunk liner, and that comes with the cargo blocks, and I'll explain what all that stuff is when we get into the trunk. That's an extra $235, and then you also have a first aid kit for $99. If we take a look down below a little bit more, we see you have a $995 destination fee, which is good because most of the destination fees on cars pretty close to this one have been over $1,000, so this is good to keep it under $1,000. And the total vehicle price for this car is $25,719. So you get quite a bit of car for that amount of money. Alright, so taking a step back to see the side profile of the Passat for 2021. We have a wheelbase of 110.4 inches, and the color that we're working with, as you saw on the window stickers, Aurora Red, and it is one of 6 different colors available on the Passat. Alright, and finally, so that we could see the rear profile of the vehicle, you could see that it follows suit to the front and rear, including that formal styling, kind of the understated styling. But with the red color, it really kind of makes this car pop. A really great color choice for this car, and that's pretty much the only reason why I chose to do this one. It just makes this car pop. But while we're back here, we can highlight some of the drivetrain configurations. There is only one. So it comes with front wheel drive across the board, and it also comes with a 2-liter turbocharged inline 4 across the board, so the only drivetrain and engine options available. Alright, so details of the exterior on the 2021 Volkswagen Passat S, and I'd really like to highlight too that this is the base model of the Passat, so just pay attention to how much equipment you get. And we're going to start off here on the hood, where you can see that the sun is glaring on it, and you can see the beautiful metallic work in the paint color. And we'll migrate down to the headlights, which are full LED units for both your high and low beams. You also have LED daytime running lights, and your turn signals are up there. Moving on to your grille, lots of chrome, lots and lots of chrome around on the front end, even ends up into the headlights. We have some black trim down below on your sides and towards the bottom. And with the Volkswagen emblem that hides all of your sensors for the front warning systems. pretty handsome front end of this car. So lots of nice sharp edges and creases that create some pretty neat shadow lines on the hood. And if we take a look down below, we have 17-inch aluminum painted wheels. Of course, the basic wheels. Each trim level will give you a different style wheel as well. But pretty nice bright paint finish on the 17-inch wheels. And the tires measure 215/55. Taking a look down the side profile of the vehicle, we have black surrounding all of the windows. Wrapping around, we can see they have the blind spot monitoring and also the LED turn indication on the mirrors. If you get the SE trim, you will get the Smart Key entry, however the base does not have it. So you have the shark fin antenna up there. And our rear wheel and tire setup is pretty much the same. Completely LED back here too with your tail lamps, so the running lights, the turn signals, brake lamps, everything is LED, so nice use of LED lights on this vehicle on the outside. We also have little reflectors here, so if you have to park your car on the street at night, then people will be able to see you and hopefully won't hit it. And we have some mimicked exhaust tips out back with the chrome styling back here, but the real exhaust tips are tucked underneath. We have the Passat logo across the rear deck lid, which is a pretty cool styling element, and the Volkswagen emblem on top. I have a trunk release and your reversing camera underneath the lid there. And what do you guys think of the styling on this Passat? I personally have always been a fan of the look of the Passat, especially the Passat GT. I almost actually bought one of those cars, but let me know in the comments what you guys think. Next up, let's take a look at what the under the hood section looks like. Alright, so under the hood, we have a very simple 2-liter turbocharged inline 4. None of that mild hybrid junk or electrification powered or anything like that. Hood is held up by a prop, as you can see. Volkswagen's been using this motor in quite a few models and for quite a while, and it's a pretty proven power plant. You can see everything's pretty easy access. You have a relatively small engine cover, and you can see as soon as you pull that cover off, you have really easy access to your oil filter and the engine oil dipstick, which a lot of cars are doing away with nowadays. You have your coolant reservoir and your windshield washer reservoir. And you could see most of the motor too. You can see the intake over here. That goes out back. And I'll put all the numbers in the description box below as far as horsepower and torque. Alright, so details of the interior, and we're going to start on the driver's cockpit here. Opening up the driver's door. Check out. Materials are pretty good. So soft touch up here, soft touch down here where your arm is going to rest, and then the rest of the door is a hard touch. I have a pretty nice, like this metallic silver trim that comes from the door handle, and you also have the lock-unlock mirror adjustments. They are heated and manual folding. We have all of our window controls and the window lockout for the rear. Nice grab handle to close the door. And one last control is your trunk release. We also have a nice storage pocket here with a bottle holder. Taking a look at the left of the dash, we have an air vent, and right below that we have a headlight controller and our gauge dimmer. Right below that we have a nice storage pocket, so pretty large. You could put small pieces of paper or your extra change for going through toll booths. You also have your handle for your tilt and telescoping steering wheel. Our pedals down below and hood release. And really the name of the game on this Passat is just kind of simplicity. We have full fabric seats and 6-way manual adjustments. So we have the backrest back and forth, the height adjustment, and also the lumbar. And you can see that handle over there on the bottom towards the center console. That is your back and forth adjustments. So really all the adjustments you'd need in a seat just in a manual function. So at this point we'll hop in, start it up, and check out the rest of the interior. Okay, so here's the key fob you get when you purchase the 2021 Passat. Can't get much more basic than this. You have the Volkswagen logo on the back, panic alarm on the side, you have a lock, unlock, trunk release, and physical key. In order to start this car, you just put your foot on the brake, and the S actually has a key tumbler. Look at that. Starting a car with a key. I haven't done that in years. In case you're wondering, if you go the next trim level up, you will have push button start. Alright, so we can start off here with the leather wrapped steering wheel. So a lot of Volkswagens that come in the base model have this sort of like durable plastic feeling, but not on the Passat base model. You get a leather wrapped steering wheel, and that has some contrasting on stitching on the inside and pretty good grip bolsters at your 10 and 2. You also have all of your different controls for the screen up there, and also some media stuff and the adaptive cruise control. Yes, this base model Passat has adaptive cruise control. But let's take a look at what all these buttons actually do. So here's all of our cruise control settings, and you could pick the distance for the adaptive cruise control with that button there. It'll show up in the center and have you pick certain distances. Then you could just turn the cruise control on and off with that top button. You have your audio volume here, and across the airbag cover. We have all of the buttons for your Bluetooth telephone, voice commands, and skipping between your radio stations and your tracks. And then these arrows, and the OK have to do with the MFI screen up there. But first of all, talking about the regular gauges, we have your normal tachometer, speedometer, and in the center we have the coolant temperature gauge and the gas gauge. But in the center is where you'll get more information, and again, you use these arrows, and the OK to control that screen. So if we scroll down, we have all different vehicle information. We have different trip computers, real-time consumption, average consumption, distance till empty, some more trip settings, average speed, and then back to a digital speedometer. We can press the silver arrows down over here to get more adaptive cruise control information, the audio, what's going on with that, You can also change your radio stations through these controls, obviously on the steering wheel. We have our phone screen. Moving over, we have all of our driver's assistance. So we have rear cross traffic alert, blind spot monitoring, and also the front sensor. So we could turn on and off all of those features if we'd like. And then we have all of our various settings, so we'll go through that quickly. And it goes back on over to our vehicle information screen. Behind the steering wheel, we have a couple of stalks. We have our high beams and turn signals. And over here we have the wipers. Taking a look at the upper dash, pretty nice soft touch material. We have some stitching that goes all the way across up top. And a pretty neat design with the air vents and the fact that these two are air vents over here. But it gives you the simulation of a continuous air vent, but it's just kind of for styling. You have two over here and one over at the end. And in between these two, we have the hazards button. So this is the screen that you get in all Passats. Whether or not it has navigation depends on the trim package you get. But this is pretty much your main screen here. So we go to the menu right there, and front and center we have our App Connect, which has to do with our Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. We can move over, so we have our telephone screen over here. Back to menu, we have the media screen, which has to do with your SD card inlet, so you can put songs on there. You can also hook up through the Bluetooth. And finally, we have our radio screen. Obviously, it'll show up with all of your presets in the center, and you have a couple of pages of those. We have what band you'd like to choose. This car has Sirius XM. We can go to our station list. We have our tuning over here. And also, one more thing is you could also have a view over there. So in the middle, it'll show what song is playing, if there's an album cover, all that good stuff. Then we also have audio settings over there. Media, phone, voice commands control. We could quickly mute the audio system. We have the app button, which is the Apple CarPlay Android Auto. We also have our sound settings. So we could adjust all of those things. Back to our menu screen, we have again our sound settings, images, so we could upload those to the cars. And then we also have the system settings, which is the last thing I'd like to point out on this. So there are quite a few different things that you could customize. You can also go into like your radio screen and press the settings there, and you get even more things that you could customize. Physical volume knob, physical tune knob as well, which is good to see. Also a very simple single climate control. Easy to use knobs, one for your temperature, one for your fan speed, and one where you want the air to blow. Then you have various controls up here: air conditioning, rear defrost, recirculating, and just turning it off. And in case you're wondering, the front defrost is right up here. No heated seats on this vehicle, but you really don't need it because the cloth seats don't really get too hot or too cold. So I think you'll be just fine without the heated seats. Nice large storage cubby over here. Definitely will fit a phone. We have a 12-volt power outlet, USB outlet as well. And the gear selector for our 6-speed torque converted transmission. So a traditional transmission, no dual clutch. Obviously, to select gears, there's a little release at the back. Just press that to get into gear. Once you're in reverse, your reversing camera will pop up, which has a pretty good resolution. There's also some settings that you can customize with that. You also have neutral, drive, and a sport mode. So you put it back if you're feeling in the sporty mood. You put it back up into drive, and then you also have the addition of a manual mode. So you can go back and forth on the shifter there. There are no paddle shifters on this vehicle, but at least they give you the option to be able to shift. I like how this trim down here is not all gloss black, because the gloss black tends to get very dusty, fingerprinty, if that's a word. Instead, you have a nice matte silver trim down here. And take a look at that. So two things you really don't see that often in new cars: an actual key to start it that you have to insert into a tumbler, and a manual parking brake. So really good to see these two things. It's kind of a refresher. You have two decently sized cup holders and a little storage tray there. We open up our center console. It's covered in leatherette material. Pretty good amount of space in there as well. Nice felt lining at the bottom. Taking a look up at our mirror, you have the manual day and night mode. And up at our center stack, we have our lighting controls, so off, on when the doors open, and then just all on for the interior lighting. We have our map lights up there, emergency information SOS controls up here. Also, one last thing is the sunglass holder. So pretty large, you could fit some pretty nice aviators in there if you'd like. On the larger side of the visors too, so you have a cup holder, or a card holder rather, and a mirror. You can also fold the visors over, but they do not extend like this to block all the sun on the side, so what you see is what you get. You also have a grab handle. So that pretty much does it for the front cabin of this Passat. So pretty back to basics with this car, and if that's what you like, this is probably the car for you. So it's pretty much just a basic car with a modern design. So it's really it fills a pretty good niche market there. But at this point in the video, I'm going to adjust the driver's seat to a comfortable driving position for myself. I am 5'10", and we're going to check out the back seats. Extremely solid doors, even with the windows down. Let's take a listen to that again. There is zero rattling in there at all, even with the windows down. That is German build quality for you. Taking a look back here, just about the same materials as up front. So soft touch upward door panels, so if you rest your elbow up there, you'll be nice and comfy. And you also have soft touch where your arm would normally rest. Again, same silver trim as up front. You have your door handle and a speaker down there with your window control and a storage console there. Obviously have our bench rear seats. And the headliner, you have a nice lights in back when you'd open the doors. And really the reason why you would buy a Passat over a Jetta is if you have a family. And it pays off. In my Jetta, I probably have about half this amount of legroom. And that's pretty good for a Jetta. But when you buy the Passat, take a look at that. So really, really great amount of legroom back here. I'd say, geez, probably 6 inches from my knees to the backrest. That's maybe even 8 inches. That is pretty good if you ask me. So definitely very roomy back here. You have a little storage tray over here. Not too bad of a drivetrain hump. I mean, it is pretty large, but there's also a lot of room back here. So I would say you could definitely fit 3 people back here for a pretty good amount of time, pretty comfortably. And of course, cloth seats always feel more comfortable than leather for some reason. And these rear seats are no exception to that. Very comfortable. We have a fold down armrest over here with a couple of cup holders, and that'll fold up if you like. And the rear seats fold 60-40 split, so you can see the split right here. You have grab handles, coat hook, and a light up here. Pretty large light if you ask me. It looks like that does it in the back. Pretty simple, but lots and lots of space. Now let's check out what the front passenger room has to offer. Let's take a listen to the doors again when they close. Very solid. So front passenger door, much like the driver's door, just a few less buttons. The passenger seat has the same power adjustments minus the lumbar, so you still have the up and down the back and forth for the backrest and the back and forth for the whole seat. But pretty nice cloth seats. The fabric isn't the most quality material, but it definitely looks very nice and it's very comfortable. It'd definitely be pretty durable too. And we of course have a lockable glove box. Lots of room to store your owner's manuals. You even have a shelf up here to put your owner's manuals, so you can put all of your junk at the bottom. And we also have a tire pressure monitoring reset button in that trunk, in the glove box as well, with a pen holder. Alright, so when you press any one of the buttons to open the trunk, it'll pop right open to you thanks to some springs within the hinges. Another reason why you buy the Passat over something like a Jetta is trunk space. It is cavernous back here. It is really, really big. So you have huge extensions off to either side, and it just goes in for miles and miles. You also have these pull tabs here to pull the rear seats down so they could fold. That'll give you even more storage. There's some accessories back here that this car comes with, such as the monster mats, so the all-weather floor mats. And also the cargo management system, so they're pretty much just plastic blocks that have Velcro at the bottom, and they Velcro to the floor, so you can kind of like make walls around your cargo. Have a roadside assistance kit, first aid kit, and our wheel lock kit. And this is also your all-weather trunk liner. So it's got a carpeting on the top, but rubber on the bottom, so you could definitely have some all-weather stuff, I guess you could say, in your trunk. When you lift up the floor, you can see you have a spare tire and all your tools. When you're done getting all your junk out, you just grab underneath the trunk lid right here, and it closes nice and easy. On the passenger side, we have the filler for the rather large 18.5 gallon fuel tank. So you can definitely go on some nice trips, not have to fill up too long. And according to the EPA, you should be getting right around 24 miles per gallon in the city and 36 on the highway. So really good numbers for this car. And as you can see, you can use regular unleaded fuel. You also have the gas cap, which you can unscrew, and there's a little hole right here. Put the gas cap right there and it'll stay there so it doesn't dangle down and scratch your Aurora red paint. So to end this video, I hope you have enjoyed watching, and I hope you enjoy the 2021 Volkswagen Passat in the S trim level. Stay with us here at NNT Auto Reviews for future in-depth walk-around videos.